On Saturday, May 13th at the Johnson Terminal at the Forks, the Pulse Gallery will be holding a very special event that will showcase the art of a true Winnipeg artistic icon. For more than 50 years, Winnipeg artist Jordan van Sewell has been creating sculptures that reflect the world around him as seen through his own quirky, thought-provoking, and often humorous lens. His sculptures have been sold around the world and can be seen in some of the world's most prestigious art collections. On Saturday, Jordan will be premiering a new exhibit at the Pulse Gallery, and here to tell us more about the exhibit, I am joined by the one and only Jordan van Sewell. Hey, Jordan, it's good to have you here.
It's great to be back.
Before we get to the art that's going to be shown at the exhibit, I want to first start out by asking about the name of the show. It's called Still Hammering It Out. Where does the name come from? It's such an intriguing title. And can you tell us the story behind the title?
It's come up time and time again where if you ask somebody, how's it going? They say, still hammering it out. So the idea that I had retired is far from the truth. And people were saying to me, you've shut down your gallery. What's going on? Are you done? And I said, no. Still hammering it out, which I think encapsulates every artist's work. You just stay at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other great things I just saw, they're apparently hot off the press, is there are invitations for the show, and the invitations look just great. I had to laugh when I first saw them. Can you please describe the invitation to our audience?
I certainly will. Again, I've used one of my favorite images, which is my own visage, looking out into the world, pondering what's going on there. So I think that this invitation is going to be a keeper. It's got a bend to it that you can set up your own little Jordan on your own desk. And I think it takes in all of the imagination of the artiste in the background. And then when you fold it, you realize that the artist is actually alone on the bald prairie, which I think for many of us, there's a lot of inspiration out there on that horizon that we don't maybe readily see. But it certainly has addressed my sensibility. And I've tried to reflect that in the card, along with the fact that there's a halo over the artist's head that is obviously broken. So the idea that every artist is making precious things and that they're entering sainthood is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek poke at that adage.
And, you said it earlier, having a bit of Jordan on your desk, whether it be a piece of art or...
Hey.
If you can't have a piece of art, have the invitation.
Exactly.
Just great. And for our Classic 107 listeners, if you go to classic107.com, I have taken a picture of the invitation. You can find it there. It's really, really hilarious. Can you talk about what inspired this exhibit? And I got to ask the question, has your inspiration changed, especially since the pandemic? Can you talk about that a bit?
I think we've all changed in the pandemic, but the essence of what I do has remained the same. And although there are some other themes now that have come up that we maybe were unable to address or even entertain before the plague, we've all had time to think about it. I've had time to ponder it to the point where I've created some pieces, I think, reflecting these troubled times we live in. And I've tried to make it tongue-in-cheek. I've tried to have people maybe look at the subject and extrapolate their own conclusions from it. Because even though there's a lot of odd things going on, I think the main thing is that we're still pushing ahead. We're still doing what we can. We're still hammering it out.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about some of the themes that the show is going to cover, and maybe just give a little bit of an overview of the show?
Yeah, it's a simple way to describe it would be it's all recent work, along with a few choice pieces that I think address the idea of still hammering it out as well. So the pieces that I've created, some of them are people that are ill. So I've got, different sick individuals in a bed, one of them sitting in a chair, all wrapped in a blanket. And these are all things that we've gone through. When I look historically at how they address the sick bed or the bed of whoever it is, historically, I think the bed is a good subject matter. So I've got a few things along those lines, and then some other, maybe there'll be a few surprises. I've got, of course, which show would be complete without the curling beavers and. Depicting how they've chewed the ends of their brooms. So, I like to keep that trans-species communication open as well.
Are there any specific favorite pieces that you're particularly looking forward to showing at the show?
Yes, one of them is one of the pieces I did with the plague doctor in it, and they're going over the falls in a barrel. So there's a dog and the plague doctor, and I've accompanied that particular piece with two other pieces, which are also dogs in barrels, with their travel companion, their familiar, as it were, which is a snake. And of course, they all look perplexed, and I think when hung together, it's going to really give a startling statement of optimism. And also, bring back that quirky nature of what I like to showcase.
For people who are going to go see this show, what do you hope that they're going to take away from it? And how do you want them to be impacted by your art?
Well, I would like them to take away a piece, because all these things will be for sale. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that people entertain the idea that they can include a piece of art, whether it's mine or somebody else's, in their collection to further enhance their interesting lives. Mm-hmm. So if I can accomplish that, I think I'm doing something. For all the people that want to come and look at it, it's great, because it could be an introductory to them to my work. It could be a further investigation for them. But I like to think that it's an event, mm-hmm. and that there's celebration to it, and that there's the idea that we are a community, that we are moving ahead with it. And I've just interpreted my own idea of what that might look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been an artist for more than 50 years. Looking back, what's art given you? And I'm going to ask the question vice versa. What do you think you've given to art?
Well, art is one of those things that is just another big part of my life. And when I think about what I have given art is, I guess it's the interpretation of each artist and how they look at things. So my vision may be askew in some ways. I may not be seeing things as they truly are, but it certainly offers a presentation of the way that things could be. And why not? Why not entertain that idea? So art has given me purpose, but it's also given me, it's a vocation, so it's a job. It's all those things that daily life, I think, is available for everybody. But my chosen field is to make things. So making things for people to look at, I think, is my contribution to art. Art has given me all kinds of inspiration, and it brings color, it brings joy into my life, and I thank art for that.
Yeah, absolutely. The show opens this Saturday. How long will the show be around for? And also, for those who don't know where it exactly is, can you explain to us where exactly the Pulse Gallery is?
Yeah, everybody's familiar with the Spaghetti Factory. Mm-hmm. And if you're on your way in that door, if you just veer to the left a little bit, you'll find the entrance to Pulse Gallery.
Yeah, in the Johnson Terminal. Yeah,
on the main floor there, and long-established gallery. Lovely staff at the gallery who are very accommodating and have welcomed me with this pop-up show.
Nice. And do you know how long it's going to be around for?
It's going to be an indeterminate time, because although it opens on the 13th and it is pop-up in nature, I think it'll be around for at least a couple of weeks, and maybe there'll be some pieces still around the gallery for further display.
Mm-hmm. And do you happen to know offhand the hours of the Pulse Gallery?
Yeah, I think they're is it 10 to 6? And then a little shorter on Sunday, I believe.
Perfect.
But I know they have a website as well, and it's pretty much regular business hours.
Perfect. And for our Classic 107 listeners, I've embedded a direct link to the Pulse Gallery's website on our website, classic107.com, in the article. If people are going to buy the art, how should they look and buy your art, and who should they be buying the art for?
Well, ideally, I think people buy things that they like. And it can be argued that buying art for someone else is a difficult proposition because who can account for people's taste? So if you are confident in your own vision, I think it's a simple matter of buying something for someone who can then share that vision, because it is we're talking about message art here. So, and the messages are wide open. So I think that different individuals, if they were to receive the same piece, they would all have their own idea of what was going on there. And I like to think that true art is open to interpretation for the masses.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, the exhibit, still hammering it out. It sounds like it's going to be a really, really terrific show. All the best. I'm sure it's going to be a big success. Thanks for taking the time to stop by our Classic 107 studios and talk to me today.
It's always a pleasure, and I thank you so much for having me in again. And I wish everybody a happy summer now, because the weather is broken and Winnipeg's back to where we should be.
Yes, amen to that.